Hey everyone, what is up? My name is Rasmus Brown. Wait a minute, I just realised I'm shirtless. I'll be right back. Nothing but a good t-shirt fitting just to cover up my body. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'm very sorry for you guys for editing this video. I know it's taken quite a bit of a while to do. But today it's finally here. I might do this in a two-part or a three-part video because with the 500, I think it's like 500 megabytes for one video, plus with the amount of the amount of duration, which is the amount of minutes that go into it. I'm gonna try and keep it short, like probably 14 minutes 50 or lesser than that. So just to let you know, guys, that I've done a lot of editing to take this video up into play and try and get more subscribers and all that. But just to let you know, I'm very sorry for all the time. I've obviously had trouble with police and regarding to, which isn't true because I don't smoke, because I despise cigarettes and I despise weed and I despise cocaine. Okay? I despise all that shit. I'd rather burn that shit to the ground. But there's been people saying that there's weed coming to my address, and there isn't. I don't smoke. My mother doesn't smoke. So, frankly, it's my horrid neighbours next door. So, without further ado, I'm not going to explain about that, or the police, or my neighbours. Let's just get into this rank up and see what your guys' opinions is, if my opinions don't matter at all, even though they don't really matter. But I'm honestly just saying, like, an opinion's an opinion. You just can't you just can't change it. Well, you can, but still, you can't question it. But anyway, let's get into this rank up. Now, before we get into the rank up, do you guys ever remember the old PlayStation 2, where you obviously used to play your old PlayStation 2 games back in your own childhood? Well, apparently, this is what I missed the most. I missed playing PlayStation 2 games. But unfortunately, I used to play the PlayStation 1, which I didn't really play that much because I played the first Medal of Honor game. But when it got replaced by the PlayStation 2, I kind of felt happy about it.
Oh, nice.
The PlayStation 1 is actually getting replaced by the PlayStation 2.
No!
I'm going to start with pretty much the most, well, I don't know, probably any type of game that I've played over the years. But I'm going to start from the very beginning till the end, okay? So, even if the Xbox original games, show up in these videos, just to let you know, it's not my fault, because they are definitely the same, just different consoles, okay? So, anyway, let's get to the first one. Men of Valor. Now, basically, Men of Valor is basically a Vietnam game which came out in October 2004. the day I was, well, when I was 1 year old. But the thing is, though, it possibly, I'm not entirely sure, but the game is absolutely that brilliant, and even the storyline as well, and the amount of characters, and it makes it a little bit emotional when you lose a couple of them. But basically, you fight against the VC and the NVA, which I find the best of the NVA, but the VC are way more longer throughout the story. You can blow up boats, you can blow up rivered houses, you can blow up anything with a grenade, like whatever's in your path. And not only that, you can interact with some of the helicopters as well. But the storyline is so good, I'd rather keep playing it all day, like just for entertainment. But not only that, there is a couple of deaths with your friend characters along the way, but the amount of gameplay that you can experience with this game is just unbelievable. Even though this came from the original creators of Medal of Honor Allied Assault, this game has also brought it up to another level. Even though back in 2004, I still loved the game. Even though I had some problems getting through some of the levels, but I'm going to give this a simple D. Moving on to the next game, and it's Medal of Honor European Assault. Now obviously Medal of Honor was one of the most good games I actually played on the PlayStation 2, even on the Xbox original as well. Controls for the Xbox original were a little bit hard to handle because it was a big controller, but obviously the game itself was actually quite more better to see. Even though that this was a secret, well, obviously you're a lieutenant from the Americans, and you're going with different nations of the country, you obviously get to fight the Germans in the Battle of the Bulge, St. Nazaire, the Battle of North Africa, and last but not least, you actually fight in Russia as well. 4 countries in one game, but obviously minimal levels. But obviously the amount of time that went into the levels, apparently it's just gone so really good. And not only that, you get to fight not only just Germans, but you get to fight tanks like rather Panzer IVs and German King Tigers. And not only that, there's a couple of mini boss fights where you can fight high-ranked German officers which are trying to kill you. And not only that, I find them a little bit good. Like, absolutely brilliant to bring little mini boss fights into certain levels. Kind of reminds me of those Lego games for some reason. But anyway, enough about that. Medal of Honor European Assault, it's obviously just one of the goodest, badass games ever. And I couldn't even stop playing it for a good couple of hours because how much good the game was. And not only that, the narrator, or the old guy that kept talking in the cutscenes, I, even though he may have passed away, I couldn't even get his actual real name, but I hope that you've had good fun of, you know, putting your voice into this game, because it's honestly just amazing how you just come from, you know, this war veteran to a cutscene narrator. But the levels and everything else is just absolutely brilliant. Plus, Medal of Honor just not stop there. There's just, honestly, there's just battles that you can't even provoke. There's some areas where you can find loads of Germans, and some areas where tanks, like hordes of tanks, just keep storming at your doorstep. But then, I'm going to have to give this a simple, I'm going to give this one a B.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Moving on to the third one, and it's Medal of Honor Frontline. Now basically, this is the same gameplay from that Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and also, I don't know what other games are there, but yeah. So technically, Medal of Honor Frontline is basically you're another lieutenant, but you're Harrison. And also, another thing about this is where you get to fight in many missions like D-Day, Operation Market Garden, and another thing you get to fight in like Berlin and no, not Berlin, but like everywhere around where the Germans have been planning. And not only that, you get to fight alongside hardened veteran allies as well. 20 weapons, 19 missions, which are so good. And not only that, the enemy AIs, which are the Germans, they're just spot on. They're honestly spot on. Not only that, you get to fight tanks as well, even in some areas of the missions, but still, it's Medal of Honor Frontline is still a good game. But one thing I am quite disappointed in, though, is when you're trying to fight to get to a hangar, like in that second last mission, the weapon, like the damage from the German weapons, like from the STG-44, is actually quite, it's just terribly overpowered. Even though the STG-44 is the best out of the only German weapons there, but I still find the Thompson, the MP40, the M1 Garand, and a couple of other weapons I find overpowered in a good way. Even the Springfield. But like I said, German tanks, Germans, and that's it. But I've never really tried the multiplayer as well, because back in the day I didn't have Wi-Fi to connect the PlayStation 2 with. But to be fair, I'm going to give this a simple A as well. Call of Duty 2, the big red one. Now, ever since Call of Duty's games have been growing to the very large limit, ever since Medal of Honor's failure of making the games even a bit more better than they were supposed to do it, but obviously Call of Duty 2 Big Red One is the best ones out of the bunch. Also, you get to fight in the very first thing you fight in is, I think it's the town of Caen or the city of Caen. Then you fight again in North Africa with the Italians and the Nazis. Then you fight all the way into Germany as well, where you fight the Germans' best armies. Well, they're not really. Not only that, there's a couple of characters which are, well, some of them do die in two of the missions, but then all of a sudden, that's it. And don't judge me if I've been saying tanks quite a lot in the rank ups, but the tanks I love. But the only tank that we've only faced was the Italian light tanks and those German Panzer IVs, which I find a little bit boring, because they did release that German Tiger tank, and I'm thinking, really? Just come on, like, give us something better. I don't know, like just give us another German Tiger tank or something. But no, they just had to keep releasing more Panzer IVs into the game. But the gameplay itself is just amazing. I couldn't even give, what else can I say? It's just good. Not only that, you get to go into the beach of, Normandy, I think. But it's still good. It's still really good. But obviously with the greatest game that they've, even though this may be a great game, but it's no way is better than my Battlefield 2 Modern Combat game. But that'll be probably a rank up that I'm going to be doing in probably the second or third video. But anyway, from Call of Duty 2, the big red one, I'm going to give this a simple S. Right guys, I'll see you in the next one.